Track 34. Now turn to Section 4 on page 65 of your book. You will hear part of a lecture on the reliability of human memory. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen and answer questions 31 to 40.
We like to think that our memory is good and that we can rely on it. We say things like, "I was there," "I saw it with my own eyes," to show how sure we are that we've remembered something clearly. But how sure can we really be? Are we remembering an event exactly as we saw it? The answer seems to be not very sure. In 1890, the psychologist William James described memory as reconstructive. In other words, when we remember things and where we are when we remember things can affect how accurately we remember them. People are wrong, therefore, to think of memory as something similar to a video clip, which we can replay whenever we like, and which will always be the same. Memory doesn't work like that. One of the best-known experiments showing how memory actually works was carried out by Loftus and Palmer in 1974. They showed students a short film of a car accident. Then, they asked them to answer some simple questions about what they'd seen. Surprisingly, by asking different questions, they found that they got different answers. For example, if the students were asked how quickly the car was traveling when it crashed, the answer was generally about 60 kilometers per hour. But if the word contacted was used instead, then the students tended to say about 40 kilometers per hour. These findings suggest that the questions you're asked about an event can have a big effect on your memory of it. This is very important when the police interview witnesses after a crime. To avoid influencing what their witnesses remember, police officers ask them to remember an event in as much detail as possible before asking them any questions. Elizabeth Loftus's work led to the development of this technique, which is called cognitive interview technique, and it's now used by many police forces. Dr. Thompson shows the importance of memory in criminal matters with the story of a man who was accused of attacking a young woman. The woman identified him in a lineup of people, even though he was sure he'd never met her before. Fortunately, the man had a good alibi. He couldn't have committed the crime because he'd been appearing on live television at the time of the attack. Eventually, the woman realized that she'd been watching the TV program when the attack happened, and in her memory had confused the face of her attacker with that of the man on the screen. This shows just how easily we can confuse in our minds two events that happened at the same time, even when they were completely unrelated. In the past, people were often convicted of crimes on the basis of eyewitness reports alone. But because of the research that's been done, this doesn't happen so much anymore. What's more, several people sent to prison because of eyewitness reports have used DNA evidence, which is more reliable, to prove that they couldn't have committed the crime. Another thing that researchers have found is that it's also possible to plant false memories in people's minds without them realizing. In one experiment, Loftus convinced people that they'd been lost in a shopping center at the age of 5. To make the story convincing, she asked the participants' relatives for details of a real shopping trip that had actually occurred at that time, and then included these details in the made-up story she told them. In a follow-up interview, 25% of participants claimed that they remembered getting lost on the trip, an event that never happened. The fact that the participants' relatives claimed that the event really happened is very important. People will even accept guilt for a crime they did not commit if they're told that a colleague saw them doing it. This is very important in the legal system because people may be confused into making a false confession if there is enough reliable evidence. What all this shows is that we can't be as confident in our memories as we might think. So the next time you're arguing with a friend about what exactly happened at some past event, bear in mind that your memory could be playing tricks on you.
That is the end of the test.